the youngest on the panel, I would say, Amy Pereira. She recently graduated in film and television show from Swinburne University of Technology. During her studies, Amy found her passion in producing and has worked on numerous projects throughout her 4 years at Swinburne. She had her latest film, Gaslight, hit the recent St. Kilda Film Festival, and you get to know about that tonight. It showed last week. And has high hopes that the film would hit many more screens in Australia and globally. She is currently working at Channel 9 as a resources assistant and is looking to immerse back into film production in the next few months. And this is the last bit, which is my favorite, that her goal is to win an Oscar. So let's back her up. I have to make sure I get a photo with you, Amy, before you walk on that Oscar stage, you know. And finally, to my right, I've got Winston Furlong. Got two more, who's recently been added. I'm sorry, I haven't been introduced to you. David?
There must have been a confusion, because I was in from the beginning and I was here last year.
Sorry, David, isn't it?
David.
David Black. Welcome, David.
Thank you.
That was suit, I must say.
Yeah, totally. Winston on my right, he was born and brought up in Sri Lanka, tertiary educated in England, and was is a professional engineer. He did that for several decades, I think, before he realized his calling was filmmaking. So he gave up his engineering career in mid-50s to go to a film school and become a full-time filmmaker. After seeing the screenplay for the first time and thinking, this is how films get started, and I want to do this. So since then, in the last 12 years, he's written half a dozen feature films, written and directed and co-produced one independent feature film that was Taj. I think a lot of us must have seen that in the series on the screens a few years ago. 10 short films, and is currently in his pre-production with his next feature film. So I'd like to welcome each one of you to this panel discussion, and really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the subject. Is social media a filmmaker's best friend? And if you've used it in any capacity, or if you've not used it, or why wouldn't you use it? So maybe I'll start with David.
Yeah.
I'll pass on the mic. So maybe just pass on the mic a few minutes each.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I won't hog the mic. My name's David Black, and I'm a local filmmaker. Basically, we're talking social media. With me, things have been moving along incredibly fast, breakneck speed. And a lot of it's to do with social media. I don't know how many people were here last year, but last year I mentioned social media, that I'd met somebody that had 1.5 million followers, and I'd taken a bit of influence from what they were doing. Since then, I've now produced about 18 short movies that have come out. There's about 6 in editing. There's a feature film that's in editing, and there's a documentary in editing, and right now we've got a hosted horror show series that 3 have come out. They're coming out each week for 6 weeks, so 3 or more weeks, and the last Horror House episode will come out. And a lot of this did come from social media. For those that aren't familiar with what social media is, it's a little bit like a website, but interconnected, where you might have a chat function. You can make friends, which is incredibly important. Those are your connections. You've got Twitter, which will give you maybe 180 characters to say, oh my God, look at my latest film. And then you've got Facebook, which will give you a little bit more space, and it'll give you a chat function. Now, social media was the biggest thing since sliced bread about 6 years ago, not today. The social media networks have all gotten to a point where they've got market saturation, and now they wish to sell advertising. So they've reduced your reach from 100% down to 2.5% on Facebook and LinkedIn. But that's not the end of the world. Nothing else has come along to replace it. So whereas if you've got 1.5 million connections that you spent a lot of time making, and 1.5 million aren't going to see your update, the thing is you can network. The whole world is virtually on it. You can use social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, to put in keywords into your search to find people that are doing things that you're interested in. For instance, I put out a film, I want everybody to know about it, and I know social media has been nerfed to, so, 2.5% is nothing. But bloggers still write about films. They've got their subscribers. I want to reach their subscribers, so I'll start messaging lots of bloggers, or I want my films on TV. Since this time last year, I'm now on 10 United States TV networks between 4 shows. I want my films on in the theatres. I'm now getting my short films regularly before the features on 8 big screens. One of them is in the UK, one's in Tokyo, and the rest of the USA. So you've still got social media for the networking and for the research, even if the reach has been nerfed and nothing else has come along to replace it at this point. So I'll hand on the mic to, this guy's my hero. I'm serious. It was Alvin Purple and Mad Max and a few others from Brian Trenchard Smith, the Ozploitation that got me into this. So thank you for your influence on me, even though it was a bad one.